What's up, you guys? Welcome back, and today we're here with another one. A few videos ago, I did a video on 3 fade systems, and we went through fade 1, fade 2, fade 3, and we talked about when to use each system and how it makes the most sense. And I talked to you a little bit about fade system 3, but I felt like I really didn't get to thoroughly touch on it. So in this video, I went through something completely different than what you would normally see me do. And I just want to walk you through it, and maybe it's right for you, maybe it isn't, but hey, we're all here to learn. So let's get started on this tutorial. Another drop fade here. I'm going to begin this one with a simple number 2, traveling up the side of the head in the C motion, rocking that clipper out just slightly towards me so that I could begin that blend, because I want to try to make as much of this particular haircut as easy as possible, and I want to get this done as quickly as possible too. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to speed through this process, but this is a great time to talk about using detachable clippers, using the clipper that makes sense so that you can move as quickly as possible with as few issues, and you can just get through your blend. The simple parts of your blend, you need to get through them quickly so that you can keep a reasonable time while not sacrificing any quality. So once I've addressed this entire area, as soon as we get to the parietal ridge, we're going to begin using clipper over comb. And obviously I have a much more detailed video on clipper over comb. I kind of like to concentrate on explaining to you guys from the 2 to the skin. See, beyond the skin, beyond the number 2, I usually will use clipper over comb. So I'm just going to be rolling this comb out towards me, moving up as I begin cutting, looking at it, kind of deciding what needs to come off, what doesn't. Keep using your eyes, the best tools you got, kind of follow your way through. Of course, this technique takes a while to master, so in the future, you can check out that other video if you feel you need to. Now, I'm gonna begin putting in the closed taper guideline. Now, instead of using a 5-0 like I do in the past, like I have in many other videos, I use the closed taper. Now that puts me at roughly a 3-0, which means that I have saved myself a little bit of space, and that last line that I'm gonna try to get out, it's not gonna be as harsh, and it will come out a little bit easier. So as soon as we begin the backside, as soon as you reach the backside, you wanna jump to that other side, and you wanna follow up with that. Now I'm coming underneath it. I have my Slimline Pro Li, and I'm just cleaning up the little hairs around his ear, and I am gonna come underneath it with the 5-0. So in those little areas where it makes more sense to use a trimmer, by all means use a trimmer. But in this big area where it's just gonna bog down your trimmer and cause you issues into the future, we're gonna wanna just go ahead and wipe that away with the 5-0. So when the 5-0 meets the 3-0, it's actually pretty seamless to blend, but you have to make sure that you're stopping a little bit before you reach that line, because that's a place where you could easily run into trouble. You wind up creating a 5-0 line anyways, and then kind of everything that we were trying to achieve starts to fall apart, and you'll wind up going back to one of your old systems. So I'm just following it up with the electric shaver. I've talked about this many times, but as I get closer to that area where I left off with the 5-0, that's when I want to start moving away. So in this case, I want to stay a little bit further away from the line than you see me in previous videos, but the process is still the same. If you need to, come down with the grain a little bit, move up, flick out, reduce tension, and just basically continue fighting until you have no line from skin to 3-0. So once you are at this point, you're actually going to have a couple different options. You could go in with the open taper, but if you do that, you're not going to achieve that compressed fade look that I'm trying to get. So the way that I'm going to attack this is actually going to be with the 0 and the open taper. So once I've worked out any issues that I'm having in between skin and my 5-0, and see me going back with my trimmer a little bit, making sure I'm making that perfect, and I'm not trying to go forward until I've finished everything behind me. So I don't want to be at the end doing a million little cleanup works. You guys know how I am. I like to make things easy on myself, and I want to get through it without as many problems as possible. We got Sunny photobombing me in the background, probably talking about some next level uptown barbershop top secret stuff for the next video. No, I'm just joking when I talk about any of that. Okay, so I'm gonna begin this blend. I'm gonna begin this blend with the open 0, and I'm just gonna go up, and I'm kind of gonna work that same process that you guys see me begin with it open, arcing out, using the C motion, and you're gonna be surprised the amount of damage to the line you'll begin to do with just this half. I mean, even I was, because you put the taper in, you put the blend down so many times, you put the line down so many times with the 5-0, that doing it with the 3-0 makes it a lot less harsh. And look at how quickly this is beginning to blend out for me, especially in the parietal ridge area, where I'm going to struggle a little bit because nobody's head is perfectly smooth. So we're going to have, we're going to have to be careful in that area. I don't want to create a light spot or a problem area. So as I begin closing this slightly, I'm just going to retrace the same steps, keeping it slightly angled, moving it off the head in the arc, just kind of working it back and forth. Remember when I talk about that too, you don't need to be leaving the head and jabbing them back. You want to keep it on the scalp and just rock it back and forth. That's all you really need to do. And if you can keep a slight angle when you work the clipper, angle it one way, angle it back the other way, I call it the crisscross pattern, you're gonna find that you're gonna feed a lot more hair into that clipper. It's gonna feed more efficiently, and your blend's gonna come out pretty clean. So as you can see, I've done a pretty good amount of damage with just an open 0 and a closed 0, and the blend is already starting to look pretty good. Now you're gonna have a couple choices here what to do into the future, but just make sure that this step is correct. Don't move on until you're done completely, because I see this all the time. People are always way ahead of themselves. They're always trying to get to that next step. Like just stop and smell the roses for a second. Enjoy this step. Make sure that you're doing it properly, and then we'll move on. So now we're gonna come in with the open taper, and I'm really keeping this on an angle, moving it away, because as you can see, the amount of cleanup that's gonna actually be there it's very minimal. It's very minimal. So I'm gonna begin kind of closing that as necessary. I'm going over those lines. If they're not coming out, there's only one thing you could do, and that's make sure that you're pressing the clipper down flat, make sure that you're moving it with the corner and it's slight angled. But if any of that doesn't get it out, then go ahead and close that clipper just a little bit and run over that same spot that you were working on and see what effect it has on it. See, now when you're using this process is a little less defined. You're going to actually have to kind of rely on your eyes, and that's the best tool you got. You use your eyes and you can kind of see, okay, I got a little mistake going here. I need to get this fixed up. I need to get this smoothed out. And you're just going to kind of work your way through this until you have it all real nice and smooth. Then we'll move on with the 1 open, and we'll repeat the exact same process. So in my last video, you guys see me drop, I did the blade mod for the Andis blade on the wall 1919s. And that thing is working just sweet. And this is a perfect time to talk about it. However, when I attack my skin lines, when I'm using that machine, I'm finding it really cool to do the 5-0 line, skin underneath, open taper, closed taper, and then instead of skipping the half, go into it with the half, or the 0 as Andis calls it, but in either way it's a 1/16, so we're gonna go into it with that. After you're done with your open taper, closed taper step, go into it with the half. And a lot of times that C motion, there's something about this guard. A lot of times with that C motion, I'm able to almost like flick out the blend perfectly, where there's only like a little bit of cleanup, a little, tiny bit of work to go back to, and it's really nothing to do. So that's definitely some advice I would give you guys if you guys are using the Andis double magnetics. I would say don't skip the half guard, because that number 1, you can do a lot of damage with that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that process still if you still feel comfortable with it. But for some reason, that number 1 doesn't get me quite as smooth of a blend as when I grab it for the half. I find myself fighting a lot less. So you guys try it out for a week or so and let me know how you think. I mean, a lot of times I think these things over, well after the day is over, and I kind of go over in my mind like, what can I do to make this process smoother? What can I do to come up with a better result in less time and struggle less and that kind of thing? So now, one of the things you want to notice with any drop fade is you're definitely going to want to use your thinning shears. These thinning shears are going to be your friend. You're going to be able to blend that last little bit of light spots out, those harsh spots. You're going to be able to get all that nice and smooth. However, you will not be able to get that really smooth unless you understand when to use that. So a lot of people might have been watching and being like, man, I can't believe he's already going to the thinning shears. Well, it's never too early to go to the texturizing shears and see what kind of effect that's going to have. And if you have to return back to your clipper, return back to your clipper. But I want to keep some darkness. I want to keep that nice, smooth contrast from where his hair is very, very short and his scalp is very light to his nice, dark hair, that I'm able to kind of get that perfect blend into, as long as I'm careful and as long as I leave enough hair on the top. Now if I go charging in there with, you know, my one and 1/2 or one open or one closed, I might create another light spot, and then my whole game is up. So I really want to avoid that completely. I just happen to have the caliber on my station, and you guys know that this is a fantastic machine. It has the fade blade on it, and it came in and kind of bailed me out. But the reason why it bailed me out is because I keep that machine really close for just such cases, that if I do have a little bit of residual, a little bit of cleanup, I know I got my caliber like really close. So, and I just want to congratulate the winner. By the time you guys actually see this video, this little nifty Gold FX Babyliss will have been given away on the channel. So congratulations to the winner, and I am planning on announcing another giveaway very soon. So you guys want to click that subscribe button and get ready for that, because I'm gonna come in with that one, and we're gonna do it. So many times you guys are telling me you don't have a detachable. And I feel for you guys, man, because it is expensive to get yourself a detachable, and I always tell you guys you can't afford not to have it. But I obviously also realize that not everybody has enough money to go out and just buy an expensive machine like that, which is exactly why I plan on giving away a detachable. Now, it's not going to be my octanes, but it's going to be a detachable. It's going to get you by, help you begin your debulking process. You can get yourself some blades. And you know, maybe I have to look around and see if I got anything else I can throw in there, but it's going to definitely be that detachable clipper that's going to help you pound through some of this heavy bulk and help you get your skills down and help you get your fade times down, so that you can ultimately make more money and you can afford a better machine. So on the left side of his head, I'm doing it very much like the right side of his head. As you could see, I began my attack with the half open, half closed, and his hair is a little bit thicker on the left side of his head, so you're gonna notice that when I get right down to it, my fade is not as smooth on this side before I come in with my open taper and my closed taper. And that's kind of what you would normally expect if you attacked a 5-0 or a 3-0 skin line with a half or a 1/16. You're gonna see that there's still gonna be a little shadow there. Obviously, you're gonna have to go back and you're gonna have to clean that up with the open taper and the closed taper, and you're gonna get it all smoothed out. I'm doing the same thing on the left side as I am doing on the right side. So with that being said, I'd like to open this up to some questions. If you guys have any video ideas or anything that you want to see, or anything that I'm not doing or I'm not saying or I'm not explaining well, please let me know in the comments. And like I said, I'll be announcing that giveaway very soon for the detachable clipper. I'm not sure exactly when, but I still got to go live like tonight actually and give away that Gold FX. So we're not giving away just garbage over here. I'm really trying to help you guys grow. I'm interested in you guys. I'm hoping that these videos really help you out. So until next video, I'll see you guys. Peace.